Did you all know that E3, like the E3, the Electronic Entertainment Expo, is less than a week away? Welcome, everybody. Hope you're having an absolutely fantastic day, week, weekend, whatever it is for you. We are here because on Tuesday, June 11th at 10 a.m. Mountain Time, Nintendo will grace us with the now pretty standard E3 Direct. I am excited beyond hope and also incredibly nervous for the decisions the Big N may make this year. So I did what any sane person would do and made a full graphic 25 square bingo card for us to go through of predictions, hopes, and expectations. So let's go. This year is weird, at least in my opinion. Unlike really any year since the Wii U/3DS era, we actually know a lot of what is coming for Nintendo. This is for me a double-edged sword. Or maybe a triple-edged sword? Yes, there is a ton for us to be hyped about with potential new details and release dates, but it also could mean there is not a lot of new reveals in store, as well as there's a lot of delays or even no-shows, as we really haven't gotten much this year from the Big N in terms of reveals, details, and even game releases. So, first up, let's go ahead and hit all those games and other things that we actually know something about. Beginning with, of course, our free space. Reggie will not make an appearance and announce Mother 3. I am sorry to shock you with this bombshell right off the bat. I know it is expected and heavily rumored, but one of us has to be the realist here. Though in all seriousness, I would love to see an actual appearance from Reggie and Doug Bowser as a sort of passing of the torch, especially if it was a little comedy sketch like the Reginator one by Mega64 a few years back, or maybe Doug comes out actually dressed as King Koopa taking over Nintendo headquarters or something like that. Probably not, but an E3 short would be a very welcomed addition, Nintendo. Okay, on to actual games. First up, Mario Kart Tour. Some of you may have actually forgotten about this, but this is Nintendo's next mobile game. It doesn't have a release date, but plenty of people around the internet have played the beta and are sharing all about it, and I think it's very likely that Nintendo will give us a super short segment on it, explaining a few things, then boom, dropping that it is released today, or rather on the 11th, the day of the Direct. They have gone on plenty of records saying that mobile gaming is super important to them and they want to expand that market, and the day of E3 to release a game is awesome, and it builds so much hype and momentum, especially for a free-to-play mobile game. On the same line of games that are coming out really soon, I think it's fair to believe that we will get a small indie section showcasing some things that can be played now, like Cuphead, and new things to come, like Untitled Goose Game, Silk Song, Cyber Shadow, which is Yacht Club's new side-scroller, Ori and the Blind Forest, which is odd because it's a Microsoft exclusive, but more on this later, and finally, Cadence of Hyrule, that Crypt of the Necrodancer thing with Zelda and an incredible soundtrack. By looking at the source code of Nintendo's own site, this was rumored to be released May 30th, but then it was changed to June 20th, and it has a spring 2019 release, which technically ends on June 21st. I think Nintendo is totally throwing us off here on purpose, and this will be another one that is releasing today, or at least really, really close to E3. Alright, on to big first-party Switch titles. I am taking a slightly unpopular opinion here and gonna say that Fire Emblem will actually get a pretty solid appearance at the show. The first half of 2018, like I stated earlier, was really scarce, and I think that part of that is because Nintendo is bringing Fire Emblem and bringing it soon. Unlike what a lot of other people seem to think, I believe and hope that it is coming when they told us on July 26, 2019. It is a pretty big hitter here in North America and Europe, and a huge hitter in Japan. I really hope Nintendo can deliver on this one, but after the whole Yoshi fiasco and just how lacking 2018 was, not to mention Fire Emblem isn't a great demo-like game, you can't just play it really quick on the E3 show floor, I'm a little nervous. Playing into those nerves, Animal Crossing. We literally don't even have a title, just that it exists and it's coming 2019 at some point. Well, we're halfway through 2019 and nothing. No new trailer, no reconfirmation, anything. Now, please don't hurt me on this. I am just trying to be semi-realistic here, but I am worried that Animal Crossing will be silent through E3 this year. We won't hear anything till a later Direct, just like Yoshi was, and it's coming in 2020. Hopefully early. That new leaf, no pun intended, that I so hope Nintendo had turned over in 2017 ended up being a dead rock. Unfortunately, I don't see us realistically getting this super packed second half of 2019, and something has to give in this situation. Because of just how little we have been given on the game, and coupled with the fact that Nintendo did not list it in their focused games for this year, I think what has to give is Animal Crossing. On the other end of the spectrum, we just got confirmation that Luigi's Mansion will be one of the focused games at E3. Nintendo realizes they can't just not deliver on all their promises, and if they delay Animal Crossing, they hopefully are making sure that Luigi's Mansion 3 comes in time for Halloween 2019. Honestly, if I had to choose, I would want these games flipped, with Luigi's Mansion 3 getting the shove, but this is, I think, more realistic given the scope of the two games. Now, as far as the game itself, like everyone else on the internet it seems, I hope we return back to the original game's exploration format versus the leveling style of Dark Moon. Being on the Switch, this should be bigger than any of the previous games in the series. Other than that, and the fact that it actually comes out by Halloween this year, I will be a happy tubs, though they may totally screw things up and focus on this game at E3 but not release it till April of 2020. Next, Link's Awakening. I would honestly be shocked if we did not get this game by this year. It's a remake, they're focusing on it at the show. It would be astonishing, but Nintendo surprised me before. For the game, I hope we get way more than just a reskin. At the very least, a reskin of the Game Boy Color or DX version that includes the extra dungeon. Heck, why not another extra full dungeon for the Switch version? Or even better, some extra side quests that really expand on Zelda lore, even going so far as to solidify and further flesh out the official Zelda timeline. I mean, it's been 2 decades since the last update to this game and almost 3 since its original inception, and considering that it is listed at $59.99 at retailers right now, I expect big things from this game and a ton of content. Personally, I would much rather have a game that is arguably a full-fledged reimagining at $60 than a simple reskin at $40, and I sure hope we get it by at least December of 2019. To wrap up on the first-party Nintendo releases, we will get a small reminder that Pokemon Sword and Shield and Mario Maker 2 exist, with more details in the treehouse and on the show floor. I know they mentioned that Pokemon's going to be like the biggest focus for this E3, but I just don't think that in the Direct we're actually going to get much, though I would love a new trailer, pretty short, but showcasing a brand new feature of the game. This would give exclusive Pokemon fans an interest to watch Nintendo's E3 showcase. It would also be really cool to find out what the heck this blank spot is in Mario Maker 2 next to 3D World. Alrighty, moving on to the games that we already know in terms of second and third party releases. Side note, I totally forgot to include Damon X Machina when completing this script and bingo card. It's not super memorable for me, it's not a game I'm super attached to, but Marvelous Entertainment surprised me. Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. This one was interesting that it actually was given a primary slot, quote-unquote, by Nintendo, being a third party. It is a Switch exclusive slated for July 19th. I don't think this is actually happening though. We will get a bunch of new details, though not a ton in the Nintendo Direct, but on that E3 show floor, with a new release date of fall 2019. Though we will get some extra details regarding the first DLC that's planned. I just don't think that a game of this scale with this many characters will come out on time. I think we will get a bunch of demo footage from the show floor and people will be excited, but in the name of reality, I am expecting a slight delay. I don't really know much of what to expect in terms of gameplay on this one. I've never played any of the games in the Marvel Ultimate Alliance series, though I've only heard good things about them. I don't think they follow the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I'm pretty sure they follow the comic book universe, though I want them to change this because I want Fat Thor to be a playable character. Speaking of delays, Bayonetta 3. Given that Marvel Ultimate Alliance is going to take center stage in terms of third party, or at least it seems based on that statement by Nintendo, I don't think we're going to get hardly anything on this game. The 2019 release window has been changed to TBA on Nintendo's website, and Platinum Games has been giving us very strange tweets, making it seem like they are still in the beginning stages of development, changing up their strategy from the previous 2 games. I do hope that this is all just misinterpretation and we actually get some gameplay and direction of the game, though I'd still be shocked if we get anything other than a 2020 release window, or just no release window at all. Shifting gears from Platinum Games, next up we've got Astral Chain. The initial launch of this game was quite a big surprise, at least for me, an action RPG Switch exclusive by one of the biggest second-party developers for Nintendo, while they have remained pretty quiet on their big, arguably flagship series, and I think this game will continue to surprise. Of my list, it is the most reasonable Dark Horse pick that I have for E3. Not only does this game exist, and they showed us quite a bit of detail in the launch trailer, but we also have a release date of August 30th. By the end of E3, I think this might be the game that have people the most excited from Nintendo's lineup, as the demos and trailers for it will just showcase a truly incredible experience. Am I super pumped for it? No. Do I love action RPGs? No. But something tells me that this game is just going to surprise us. I have no reason other for this than just a gut feeling. And finally, to wrap up the second and party third games that we know about, Town. This one absolutely came out of left field for me, and I'm pretty sure everybody else. If you are unaware, Town is an RPG developed by Game Freak. That is not Pokemon. It is slated for 2019, though I don't think it is hard to believe that it will be delayed to 2020, as Pokemon took a little bit more resources than Game Freak originally thought. It also doesn't make much sense to release two cartoon-style RPGs in the same quarter on the same console, unless the game is coming much sooner than holiday 2019, which I highly doubt. We really won't see much about this game at the event, and honestly won't be forming much opinions about it until people start actually playing it and getting it in their hands, though maybe we can see a little bit of this from the Treehouse stuff. I would just be shocked, honestly, if our stances on the game change from this E3. Alright, on to the fun stuff. Rumors. Though to be honest, this has actually been incredibly quiet this E3 compared to years prior. There are a few that squeeze through the cracks, with the biggest thing being Witcher 3 on Switch. I don't think this is anything too crazy, as the open world RPG gameplay just begs to be on the Switch, and I think the folks over at CD Projekt Red have recognized the just plethora of internet people who would love to have this game on the Switch, or at least they claim they would love to have it on the Switch. I have never played it, but it seems like an awesome addition to the Switch library, as well as potentially introducing a whole new group of people to the game and genre, as I have never heard a bad review of the game from the people who have played it. While on the topic of incredible games, modern Sonic. It has much less merit than the previous rumor, but there is supposedly a new mainline Sonic game in development set to be released at some point. It makes sense to launch it in Nintendo's Direct, kind of, with the Big N and Sega being so chummy right now, and basically Sonic being a Nintendo character in 2019. The new Mario and Sonic game is coming out in 2020, Sonic Racing just got released. Why not cram us with more bad mainline Sonic games? I expect this to be basically Sonic Forces 2. Short, mediocre, and generally will piss people off. Fall 2019 release. Though honestly, after playing through the original Sonic for the first time recently, it would be really awesome if they gave us a unique, fresh take on modern Sonic that you know was good. Scale up the game, make it big, give us a huge world to explore, and really flesh out the engine that you're using for the game. What are the core mechanics? Define that and stick to it. On a totally different note, we know that Persona 6 is a thing, and we know that Atlus has been asking fans what platforms they want future games, including the Persona series, on, and we know that the Switch has come out on top in those polls. There are no super solid rumors for this, but just to blow everyone's expectations out of the water, Persona 6 officially announced during Nintendo's Direct, and it's coming to Switch. Yeah, this one's a little far out there, but I really want to see the Switch to start to step outside of its boundaries in every direction. And last, as far as merited rumors go, Roller Champions or something from Ubisoft. Ubisoft and Nintendo have been chummy as well recently, and if you haven't heard, Roller Champions is a new Ubisoft IP similar to Rocket League in terms of audience, price, and culture. It involves players moving around on rollerblades, trying to score a ball into a goal. I could absolutely see this one being true, coming to Switch, and Ubisoft wanting to put it not only in their own news events around E3, but also Nintendo's, while they announce some sort of Mario and Luigi skaters or some sort of other Nintendo-themed free DLC for Switch owners, similar to how Rocket League did with the Mario and Metroid cars. The game will release soon and retail for $20. At least that one makes sense to me. I could absolutely see there being some sort of big third-party surprise on a similar level to Mario and Rabbids. Now, this probably won't be announced during the Nintendo Direct, but will drop at some point during E3 and confuse/excite us all at the same time. What could this be? I do have an idea, but more on that later. Okay, before we move on to the crazy predictions and thoughts I have, let's take a little time to talk about Nintendo as a whole outside of software. First up, the 3DS. It's dead. I think this one is pretty much confirmed by this point, but I don't think Nintendo will be bringing anything to the Direct, or probably not even E3, that is 3DS/2DS related. they have already confirmed that first-party support is done, and so we may get some third-party stuff, but I think it will be the final nail in the coffin for this wonderful little portable console. Goodbye, old friend. You have been so good to me, but it is time for you to make way for bigger fish in the sea. Overall, this is a good thing, if and only if Nintendo actually puts all its efforts into the Switch and we get a software flow that is similar to the Wii U and 3DS days. Yes, the Wii U is lacking on the software side, but if you combine the 3DS and Wii U releases, even accounting for the fact that the Switch is HD and takes even more time to develop for versus the 3DS, the Switch is still vastly behind, with 2017 being the one exception. So, prove me wrong, Nintendo. To totally confuse us even more, Nintendo will also take some time during this Direct to focus on their IRL events, tournaments, new demo stations, maybe a new Nintendo store throughout the country, or a new event at the New York store. They will launch something like Switch Everywhere, where you can play the Switch in really remote locations, or something left field and weird that we all have no idea why it is coming during the E3 Direct. I hope this doesn't take up time during this special event. I just have a feeling we will get some crap like this. Next, Nintendo will disappoint us again, and there will be nothing new for Nintendo Switch Online. No new games supported, no new announcements for the app, no features in games or more stable connections, and definitely not any new, or for heaven's sake, SNES games online. Obviously, I don't want this, I just am really not expecting much from the Big N, especially in terms of support and existing services. While we're on the topic of disappointment, despite all of the rumors, there will be absolutely no new hardware from Nintendo at E3. Now, I don't think this means that we are not getting a Switch Mini or HD or N64 Classic in the future, we're just not getting it now. Nintendo is not lying with this one when they said 2019 E3 will be for software and software alone. I know they basically lied to us in the past with the 3DS hardware revisions, but as I said earlier, even if they just bring everything that we know is coming, that'll be a pretty packed 2019, and with delays, even a pretty good start to 2020. The Switch is selling too well, and they do not want to take away from their little hybrid miracle machine coming into what could be their biggest holiday ever with their current lineup, and Pokemon on a freaking console. Okay, we have gone over a lot here, but now it's time for the big ones. The ones that truly have no reason being here, but are just too stinking fun to ignore. First up, Metroid Prime 4. We will get a quick announcement saying it still exists, but it is still a long way off, or we will get nothing else at all. See what I did there? I hyped you up for absurdity, only deliver a very realistic expectation for a very hyped game as I zoom in on the logo stalling for no apparent reason. Metroid Prime Trilogy HD confirmed for 2019! And it's on Xbox! What? They had it ready way back when, at the beginning of the year when Prime 4 was delayed, and so they delayed it even more to be closer to the release of Metroid Prime 4, but more so to coincide with the not-so-big surprise of Microsoft and Nintendo teaming up. This one has been rumored for quite a while now, and even mildly confirmed with things like the release of Cuphead on Switch. The trailer for Ori and the Blind Forest that I mentioned during the indie part of the Direct in the beginning of this video is also a part of this whole partnership. Microsoft has recently teamed up with Sony in terms of cloud gaming and really just sharing information and perhaps some behind-the-scenes services, though this is unclear how much Xbox and PlayStation were actually involved in that deal, or if it was just their parent companies. But unlike this, Microsoft and Nintendo are very, very aware of this partnership and will involve much bigger properties and public attention like the Metroid Prime Trilogy HD. Though the focus will be on Microsoft Azure's cloud-based services and specifically xCloud, during the Xbox press conference on Monday, we will get a ton more on this cloud-based streaming service competing with Google Stadia, and at a limited form, I really hope the rumors of xCloud coming to Switch are true. This would draw a huge number of Switch owners potentially to Microsoft's service, it would vastly expand the Switch's library, and give Microsoft and Nintendo a huge jump on Google and Amazon, who don't have physical devices in people's hands. With this, you would have a portable home console to stream all of these games to, in addition to every Xbox and PC owner, including laptops. Also, you get some pretty awesome exclusives with your service, like the Metroid Prime Trilogy. From Nintendo's side of things, yes, they are giving away one of their major IPs, but only in the form of a remake, and it's a Nintendo game that is truly designed to cater towards the quote-unquote hardcore audience of gamers that already own PCs and Xboxes. Then they could also see playing all of their favorite games on the Switch via xCloud, but it's portable, and they can try out a bunch of new Nintendo games because they have a reason to own a Nintendo console again, as they fell in love with this new shooter by Nintendo on their Xbox. Not to mention, they can play Halo in portable mode on their Switch. What? Yeah, Nintendo's not letting something like freaking Metroid go out for free. In addition to Microsoft bringing the old Halo trilogy, Reach, and 4 to PC, this one's already confirmed, they're also bringing it to xCloud and therefore the Switch. Or so I want them to. So Metroid on Xbox, Halo on Nintendo, but if you think about it, it does make sense. It draws a whole new realm of people to the xCloud service, and you potentially gain a whole new audience for Xbox gaming in its entirety, just in time for Halo Infinite and the new Xbox to hypothetically be announced on Monday. And of course, why stop there? In a final act of preposterous predictions, 2 new Smash characters, Cuphead and Master Chief, to line up perfectly with the Microsoft partnership. Banjo-Kazooie would be the obvious choice, but come on, people, we have to have some sense of realism here. We're never gonna see Banjo or anything rare again. What? Whew, we made it! We may have gotten a little carried away at the end, but wouldn't it be amazing? So, what do you all think? How mad are you and me for predicting that Animal Crossing will be a no-show or delayed? What are your hopes, fears, predictions, all that good jazz for the biggest news event of the year in video games? We'll be streaming this direct live on Twitch starting about a half an hour before it starts at 9:30 a.m. Mountain Time. Hope to see you all there and play some bingo. Have a wonder-filled day, everyone. And as always, stay charged.